Welcome to Live Label Free, the podcast, where we talk about all things eating disorder recovery, autism, entrepreneurship, and so much more. I'm your host, Livia Sarah, and my mission is to inspire individuals from across the globe to live a life in which they feel fulfilled and free from limiting labels. I am so excited to have you here and cannot wait to dive into the episode. Okay, my friend, do you ever just feel like just like you have all these thoughts, emotions, worries, and to-dos piled up in your head, and you just wish you could breathe it all out? Cause yeah, same. That's honestly how I'm currently feeling, and I know I am not alone in this. Whether you are in recovery from an eating disorder or trying to navigate the world as a neurodivergent person, or are simply trying to make it at life, you are not alone, because life is hard shit, man. And kudos to you for showing up every damn day, because I know how impossible it can feel to keep showing up. And I believe I mentioned this in my last episode on BMI, but I sincerely apologize if you can hear traffic or any background noise or like the AC humming, because I'm currently staying in downtown San Diego and there's unfortunately nothing I can do about it. So anyways, I really wanted to sit down and record this honest episode with you with background San Diego noise and all, because I want to show you that life isn't always easy, and I want to share with you the real behind the scenes of my life right now. And I know I share a lot of my victories and life lessons and positive experiences on my Instagram and other channels, but my number one aim with Live Label Free and my brand as a whole is to always be as open and real as possible with you, because you deserve that. And there's so much fakeness nowadays, and we deserve to know the truth. We deserve to know that we are not alone when times are hard, and we deserve to know that everyone is struggling. And even if someone seems like they do have it all together, they are lying. They're lying. They are lying. Because no one ever has it all together, trust me. And right now, you may be thinking of someone you follow on Instagram and say, well, Slim Kim, who's showing off her quote-unquote perfect abs on Instagram, does have it all together. But I can guarantee you that Slim Kim is probably miserable eating chicken and broccoli for every meal. Or body-positive Pamela may just have lost her dog, even though she's showing really nice pictures of her, like laying in bed and being happy. Maybe she's really sad inside. You just never know what is going on in someone's life behind the scenes or behind the screens or even behind their own face if you know them in person, if it's someone close to you. So this episode is really meant to connect with you on a deeper level, and it's going to be like the audio version of you reading my journal, because I'm about to open up about everything currently going on in my life, and the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and I also want to share how I'm getting through it in the hopes that I can inspire and empower you to keep putting one foot in front of the other, no matter how hard that may seem. Now, to kick things off, I always feel like context is very helpful. So for those of you who are living under a rock and don't follow me on Instagram, which you totally should at Live Label Free, like the name of this podcast, or if you also have not yet listened to my San Diego podcast episode, it's episode number 2. I am currently staying in San Diego, California, and I'm apartment hunting because I am moving here from Holland, or the Netherlands, as the proper people will like to say. So before you ask why, what, when, how, and have all the questions, be sure to listen to my second episode, because I really mean it when I say that I answer every single question there, even the ones that people still keep DMing me every day. But basically, my rental contract in Holland for my apartment ends on October 1st. So right now, I need to find an apartment that I can move into in September in San Diego. And let's just say that finding an apartment for yourself is fucking stressful. Like, I'm just gonna say it how it is, my friend. And before I dive deep into everything that's making this so stressful right now, I just do want to be positive and say that I absolutely love it here in San Diego. I mean, Trader Joe's, sunshine, my gorgeous Airbnb, despite the loud air conditioning and traffic, bike rides on the beach. Like, what do you want more in life? This seriously is heaven on earth. And since my arrival, I've just felt so incredibly happy and joyful, and with each day, I am more and more certain that I'm following my heart. San Diego is where my gut has guided me to go, and now being here for a couple of weeks, I know that I'm making the right decision. And I'm not someone who likes to use the terminology of right and wrong, because I feel like right and wrong doesn't really exist. Like, whatever you do is what you do, and that's right. But I am a firm believer in our bodies being our guides. And when we live in a way that's in line with our core values, I do feel like we're on the right path. And of course, this isn't always perfect, but life isn't perfect. That's the reality. We are constantly creating our path, and our path will always have obstacles. But it's those obstacles that make us stronger and ultimately bring us closer to our core values and force us to prioritize what really matters. And doing that, prioritizing what really matters, is something I've been working on throughout this whole process. I am working on focusing on what really matters right now, which has not been easy, to say the least. And I've got to be honest, I thought I would just come here to San Diego and enjoy the sun and continue putting out my content per usual and just doing my merry work and finding an apartment on the side, and that it would all be easy. But let's just say I kind of made a miscalculation with that one. Finding apartments is a long and tedious process, or should I say finding the apartment, because I'm obviously not going to rent multiple apartments. But all the pressure I've been putting on myself to continue my life as usual has just led me to feeling super overwhelmed and exhausted. I mean, just the other night, I could not sleep for the life of me. I was experiencing horrible insomnia because I was just thinking about everything I had to get done, especially worrying about how I'm going to secure an income here, because entrepreneurship is really unpredictable and it's really glamorized, and I feel like everyone thinks that entrepreneurship means waking up whenever you want, chilling all day, taking a picture of some protein bar you got for free in the mail, and then making thousands of dollars off of one picture on Instagram. But it is hard work, and that is that couldn't even be further from the truth. Because I rely on the engagement of my audience, and I rely on my paid coaching clients and brand sponsorships to make an income. And trust me, don't think I don't know that promotional content can be annoying if you're not waiting for it. And it's easy to just scroll on by when you see a post that is trying to sell something or that is promoting something. But it is those posts that allow me to continue to put out free, valuable content, and it is that paid content and those paid posts that allow me to support myself so that I can keep showing up for you. So if you're wondering how you can best support me or any other content creators that you love for that matter, be an engaged member of their audience. Buy the products they're promoting and use their discount codes if they have sparked an interest or inspired you to try that product. And honestly, stop trying to get everything for free, because my work is not free. We still have to pay our bills and taxes and buy groceries, and not to mention all the equipment that is required to create this content. Like, I'm recording on a podcast microphone that I just had to pay for myself, and it wasn't cheap. So if my message resonates with you at all, tell me. Leave a review for this podcast and share my content with others, because even those small 1-minute actions help me to reach a wider audience, which in turn increases the likelihood of brands wanting to partner with me or clients wanting to work with me, which overall connects to the success of my business and motivates me to continue putting out valuable content. And I know this is sounding very selly or businessy or whatever you want to call it, but everything I just mentioned is connected to my capabilities as a whole. And I do want you to know that you are of huge value to me. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you for supporting me in whichever way you choose to do so. Are you currently experiencing extreme hunger, and do you fear that you're becoming a binge eater? Or perhaps you are constantly thinking of ways to deserve food or make up for it, or you just feel overridden with gut-wrenching guilt every time you eat something unplanned or miss a workout. If any of that resonates, you are in luck, because I am interrupting my very own episode to tell you about my one-on-one coaching program. One of my favorite quotes is that your mess will become your message, and my coaching program was really born out of that. I created this program after being told that I was a hopeless case by a clinical psychiatrist over 6 years ago. I thought there was something wrong with me and that I was simply uncurable. But I quickly learned that I wasn't the only one being pushed aside by their doctors and healthcare providers. It was the system that was failing patients, not to mention how most treatment centers or insurance companies only support those who fit the eating disorder stereotypes. As the years went on and I finally dug myself out of the deep hole the eating disorder had created for me, I continued to hear horror story after horror story from clients being disregarded and being labeled as too complex by the so-called professionals. In the traditional healthcare system, it really is unfortunate that you fall between land and ship when you're dealing with more than one mental health issue, and you're often told to first, quote-unquote, fix the other issues before they can help you with tackling your eating disorder. But it does not work like that. An eating disorder never stands alone, so why should you? My promise when it comes to coaching is to guide you on the path to freedom, whatever that looks like for you. You don't need to fit a stereotype or be at a low weight or even feel sick enough to get help. In fact, if any part of your life is compromised by disordered eating, you are sick enough and have every right to help. Whatever you're going through right now, please know that you are never alone, and I am so open to exploring how we can find freedom for you together. I have stood in your shoes and am so incredibly passionate about the power of lived experience. I thought that I was never going to get better, yet here I am, thriving. And if I can do it, so can you. During our time together, we will approach your recovery holistically. We'll explore what's holding you back, discover what you need, and unlock your full potential, because you are so beautiful and unique, my friend. You can schedule a free 30-minute discovery call with me at livelabelfree.com/schedule. That's livelabelfree, like the name of this podcast, .com/schedule. So that's SCHEDULE. I absolutely cannot wait to chat. Now, let's get back to the episode. So, back to the insomnia from the other night. Kind of got on a business entrepreneur tangent over there. I simply couldn't stop worrying about all these details, such as the money aspect and what my new apartment is going to look like, which I do want to mention is also connected to the money, because in order to rent a place, you obviously need to provide proof of consistent income. And when I eventually do have the place or have found the apartment that I want to rent, I obviously need to be able to continue paying my rent, which is not cheap in San Diego. San Diego is expensive, if I've learned one thing. And I've already had so many people ask me, why don't you just rent a room, or why don't you just find some roommates, or any of these cheaper housing options? But the thing is that I am autistic, and I couldn't even live with my own family, because it was too overstimulating for me. So I really do need my own place, and that's the reason I had to move out in the first place, because I need peace and quiet in order to function properly. Because if I can't function properly, then I can't serve my audience, which doesn't benefit anyone. And when I try to explain this even to my own family, they will tell me to suck it up or just deal with it to start out, or that staying somewhere would be temporary, or really anything along the lines of these typical suggestions anyone will give you when you're in a difficult situation or moving to a new place. But that's what I believe makes having autism, or really any invisible disability or illness, so difficult, is that other people can't physically see it. They will tell someone with ADHD or autism to just sit still, even though that person is just incapable because they're so hyperactive. Or the one we all know is probably they'll tell someone with an eating disorder to just eat. But you would never tell someone in a wheelchair to go live on the 9th floor of a building with no elevator, right? Well, that's the example I often like to give people, because it gives them an opportunity to understand for them, unknown and complex concept when it comes to functionality. And another example I actually just thought of is when people tell me, or suggest rather, to get a part-time job to secure my income in the beginning. But this also would totally defeat the point of me being here, because I chose the path of entrepreneurship because I basically am unemployable. I'm not even kidding. I have done jobs here and there in the past, and I've worked at the grocery store, and I've done stuff for other companies, but my autism makes it so difficult and, in my opinion, impossible to work for someone, not to mention how physically and mentally exhausting it is to do often mundane work like stocking shelves, or really any of those activities that don't fulfill you as a person. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, friends. Still figuring out what I need to prioritize in the upcoming weeks, and I am trying my best to navigate how I am going to do all this and how I'm going to make it all work. And that is incredibly challenging, to say the least. But what's honestly been keeping me sane is surrendering and trusting that it will all be okay. And when I say trusting, I mean not only trusting the process of it all, but also trusting myself and my work ethic and my personality, and trusting that I will succeed at whatever I put my mind to. Because the bottom line here, the bottom line and the root of all this fear, the solution to the worry and the anxiety, is not trying to be calm. It's not doing yoga or meditating or forcing myself to listen to the Calm app or something like that. It's trusting. I mean, just think about it. It goes for recovery, navigating life, moving, getting a new job. All of these things are stressful because we don't have certainty of the outcome. And we often don't trust that it's going to be okay. But as soon as you start to have faith that it's all going to work out in your favor, and it's all going to work out in a way that will ultimately benefit you and make your life better, suddenly that anxiety melts away. And trusting is the key to what allowed me to recover. It was surrendering to the process and trusting that my body would heal if I let it. That was the key. And one of my favorite quotes that I want to leave you with today is that nature never rushes, yet everything gets done. And that quote is from the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. And going off of that, we often want to rush through recovery, or rush through extreme hunger, or rush through anything else that just truly scares us. But the body and mind take time to heal. And here, trust me, I know how you feel. Waiting is hard. It is some hard shit. And that's coming from a very impatient person. However, waiting is sometimes so essential, and it's often the only thing you can do. Being patient is sometimes the only thing you can control. So I hope that my words have in some way inspired you to surrender and trust the process, whatever that process may look like for you. And if you've taken anything away from this episode, please, please, please screenshot it and share it on your IG stories. And it would mean the absolute world to me if you could leave a rating and review for this podcast on iTunes/Apple Podcasts. And like I said before, doing so supports me more than you even know. I will be back next week with another episode, so until next time, my beautiful friend, you are amazing, and I believe in you.